Well, got a problem with my Runaway, and I'm going to go over it here. And what it is some of the older models had water leakage problems and mold mildew problems. With these new composite ones, mine's the actual plastic sided, and it shouldn't have a water issue, but it does. And the main reason that it does is the air conditioner. If you use the air conditioner, water builds up in the air conditioner and should drain out. And what happens in my case, I've got to store it right here, so sometimes all that water doesn't get out of there, and you can see it's tilted a little bit backwards. So what happens is eventually it runs down the wall, and I'm going to show you what it's done on the inside. I'm going to have to completely rebuild my cabinet because I'm just not happy with the way it turns out. So in my case, when the water came out of here, it drained down and caught the cabinet, and I didn't see that water, and it's run down into this cabinet to the point where it's this press board, and I'm going to have to replace all this. I just don't like having the introduction of mold in here, and you can see it's press board just all bowled up. I've tried to dry it out. I've got dry rid in here, but this is definitely a problem. If you have this air conditioner, you need to be able to make sure you get all that water out of there. And I'm going to recommend not having a shelf in here that has this kind of material. I'm going to kind of put a plastic based shelving unit in here, or metal. That way I can see, right? See, I've got my wall sealed up. I can't even see where it runs down the wall. So I want to be able to see all that, and I don't want to have any kind of thing down here at the bottom where mold can get underneath there, or water can get under there and cause mold. So water got into here and swelled this board up here, and if you look along this back edge, you'll actually see the mold that's along there. So what I'm going to do, I'm not crazy about the idea, but I'm basically going to tear out this entire shelving unit. I've decided that I don't use this area that much, so I'm going to make some cubes to replace some of my storage area. And the main thing is I've got to come up with some kind of PVC box that I can attach all these electrical components to in this area here. And I'm probably just going to do away with the shelf. I'm not sure how I'm going to work this yet, but so what I'm looking to do again is tear this entire cabinet out. I'm going to have to be systematic about it so I don't end up with a mess with my electrical. I'm going to build a special box to hold my electrical out of a PVC or maybe even decking boards. That way it's plastic. There's no way water can penetrate it. I'm going to build a box here. It may or may not have a shelf, and then that fire extinguisher is going to come over and be mounted to this. Anything I have to mount is going to be in this area here, and then I'm going to have an open spot between right under that air conditioner. If we have water come in again, I'm going to be able to see it. And down at the end, I'm going to use the little cubicles. I'll show you a picture of it here, and ordered this from Amazon, and I'm going to use those cubes to actually go up in on this side probably. So there you go. I tore that stuff out, and it's laying out here. Wasn't as bad a shape as I thought. This part of the press board was pretty well soaked, and then there's a few spots in the corners that added some spots. Inside here I had a little bit of an ant nest. I got these two boards still in here until I get my other boards to attach these to, but yeah, it's a little bit of mold in this corner I got to clean out. But like I say, I'm going to get all these boards out of here, and then we'll like I say, build something. We're just going to build something for the electrical right now. So you'll see, got this board out here. It's got all my electronics on it, and I've made a new board. It's going to go in place of that. But I found a hole in this corner here, and this is done by the factory, and so I'm going to have to reseal some caulking around that hole back there, and I'm going to put some silicone around that. That's where the ants have been coming in through, so I'm going to definitely have to take care of that. So this is my new piece in here. It's made out of decking boards, which is plastic PVC, and this won't rot and it won't be penetrated with water. So we're going to take all the components that are on this piece of wood here, transfer them over here on this piece here, and then this will be a beginning of our little box that we're going to build. So you can kind of see what I've got set up here. got this piece mounted in here. I did go ahead and put 2 holes attaching it to the actual PVC. Just take it easy on these screws or they'll rip out easy. 2 things holding it there. And then we come over here to this side here. What's going to happen is there's going to be a top on here, kind of like that. And so over on the far side, we've got another board. It's going to go in piece that goes and go on the end to make our other end of our box. And then eventually we're going to have a piece that goes one across the back. That way this switch here will be mounted on that. So we're going to work on getting more of those in. I've been using the drywall screws. Probably should have used stainless steel because these could rust, but I'm okay with that. Hopefully we'll keep the moisture out here in the future. So there's really no way to show you that this is an easy thing to do. You just got to build a box that works for you. So I used this decking material and built me a box, and it's gonna go across here like this. I've got a board across the back to attach my disconnect switch, and right now we're going to put some boards up here on top to kind of lock it all in. So I'm almost done with this. You can see here's my box, and it's going to work like I hoped it would work. It's going to have a TV up here. I'm going to put a bolt in this base to go through here and hold this in place. And then I've got a few other things to do yet. I've got my old power system I had with cigarette lighters and some hookups. I need to hook that up. I need to put this set up here. And so I'm not really sure how I'm going to work that yet. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to get the cubes and we're going to put them in place here. And that'll final up our project. And so there we go. We've got this cube system in here. I didn't get to use all 6 cubes because it was too tall to put the one up here. Like I say, I've got 5. I'm using 5 of them, but I couldn't put this. It's not tall enough, and it would have fit down here, but my fire extinguisher was it was really tight in here, so I just decided to have this loose area. Again, I wanted to be able to have access to any water that comes down this wall. So let me show you how I attach this. And again, I don't like putting a lot of screws in my actual camper, but I had to put a few to secure these. And if you look over here, basically we used these screws here, which are 8 1/2, 8 by 1 1/2, and that's, you don't want to go any longer than that 1/2 inch. And then I use these little plastic tabs right here. And you can kind of see one right there. Got one in this top corner, one over here on this other corner here, and then one in the bottom here, and one here on the very bottom. So 4 holding this in. I'm not going to have a lot of weight in here. I'm going to have bins in here. And here's one of the bins here. I got this stuff on Amazon. I'll put it in the description if you're interested. But anyway, they go in here like this, and then we'll end up having a little bungee that goes on to kind of keep it from going somewhere like that. But I'm going to have 4 of these bins, so this one here will stay empty, just be used as a shelf. Same thing with the top here. And you'll see I put my electrical hookup in here, and this has my cigarette lighter hookup, runs over to my electrical. Then it has the extender over here that has different hookups for different US or type C USBs and regular USBs, and then more cigarette lighter type hookups if you need them. So I've got a little bit more. I'm gonna put these bins in here, and then we'll have this almost done. So we've got it pretty well done there. This is like I said, this is our cubes here that we put in. Got some bungees that hold these in, and we're going to use this one as a shelf. You can see some of my wires through here where I hooked that 12 volt up there, and a little hookup for phones and stuff here on top. And I think that's really going to work out well. One of the future projects, which we won't get into this video, but I am going to upgrade my battery and my battery metering system. That'll be in a future video, but we're going to do that. And But this turned out pretty good. Like I say, we got rid of that mold. If we have any more trouble, I know I've been running this air conditioner doing this project, haven't had any problem with water coming out of here, but again, we can keep an eye on that. And I actually made the metal mesh at the bottom of these, that way I can keep through there and make sure no moistures come through, so I can make sure I do keep that water down. And like I say, that's something to look out for these air conditioners. And I'm also glad I found that insect, the ants coming through that one little spot there, so I fixed that up. But that's about all I have on this project. If you want to let me know what you might have done to do this kind of shelving in your Runaway, leave it in the comments. And if you have any questions, leave that in there as well. And we'll see you on the next one of these RV shorts.